Good morning, my name is Chris Fox, and today we're talking about email. Last year, I did a series about migrating my email to another service from Mailchimp. I had decided at that point it wasn't working out for me. Mailchimp had been unreliable, and at the time, there had been an issue where I sent an email, and the link that was in the email to go to my book, it was for a brand new launch, was corrupted. So what Mailchimp does is when a click comes in, it goes to their servers and then they redirect it to the page. And because their server was broken, there was no redirect. So I had thousands of people unable to purchase this book when I released it. And that was kind of the last straw for me. Well, recently, if you've been following the news in the indie world, David Gaughran published an article about Mailchimp, and it was not kind for a number of reasons. But the long and short of what's going on with them is because we now have to track unsubscribed email addresses to comply with some of the laws that have been passed globally, people have I believe it's called a right to forget. Tammy, if you're watching this video, feel free to correct me in the comments and add a bunch more information. As we all know, Tammy is the newsletter ninja. But the long and short of it is we need to track unsubscribed email addresses because you can't unsubscribe somebody and then 2 weeks later resubscribe them again to your list. That's breaking the law. It's not cool. So you have to maintain a list of people that have been unsubscribed. And because we're doing that, Mailchimp has said, okay, well, you've got 8,000 subscribers, let's say, and you had 2,000 people that were unsubscribed, but we're going to count those unsubscribed people now. So now you've got 10,000. And the problem with this from a billing perspective is you only have 8,000 followers. And yes, your ISP or mailing list provider rather is required to track the unsubscribes. But once they have that process in place, you'll never touch your unsubscribed members. You're not allowed to touch your unsubscribed members. You don't have any access to that list. So the idea that they're going to bill you based on people that are unsubscribed from your list didn't sit well with a lot of indies. Now, that wasn't why I migrated away from Mailchimp. For me, it's all about reliability, and then the number one important thing with mailers, deliverability. I need to know that I'm reaching my target reader's email box. And so what I did is I finally decided to migrate to another platform. I did all my research, and the platform I settled on is Convertkit. Now, there are a number of great options out there. The best one in terms of deliverability, like if you want to make sure your email reaches your reader, that's ActiveCampaign. But ActiveCampaign, everybody that I talked to said that while it was powerful and they loved it and it had a lot of pluses, they were all migrating away because it was a nightmare to do anything. It was just too powerful and too complex. So if you're hiring somebody to do it, maybe it makes sense. But I approached it a little differently. I worked with a contractor to take care of this for me and do the migration, but I wanted to make sure she was working in a platform that was easy to work and that if I needed to do mailers, that would be easy to do. So we jumped into Convertkit, got everything transferred over. It was definitely a process because what you have to do is pay basically both of your email providers for at least a month to bridge things while you're getting all of your lists migrated over. And that took some time. And then, of course, you have to rebuild all of your autoresponder sequences and any other mailers that you had set up that were going out. On the plus side, it's very much like when you move. Like if you move, you get a chance to clean out all your old junk. Well, the way that Mailchimp originally set up its list doesn't make sense from a data perspective. So typically you've got a user in a database. This is a person. And you'll say, okay, they're subscribed to this list and they're subscribed to that list. And unfortunately, that's not how Mailchimp set it up. So if I had somebody on my nonfiction list and somebody on my fiction list, they were treated as two separate people. And since I had several different lists, if you signed up for 5 of my lists, you could get multiple emails from me. Well, one of the beautiful things about Convertkit, since we converted all that stuff to tags, is I could just say, send it to this group, this group, this group, and this group, and no duplicate emails are sent. It's much easier to work with. I really enjoy the setup. My emails look very similar to how they looked in Mailchimp. I don't have, at this point at least, enough good things to say about Convertkit. It's wonderful, and it's doing exactly what I need to do. So in the second segment of the video, I will show you, we'll just, walk around Convertkit a little bit. I'll show you what it looks like. I'm not suggesting that this is a platform that you guys necessarily should move to or that you should even move away from Mailchimp, but a lot of people asked when they heard that I was, what the reasoning was and what I was going to and why. So I'll show you Convertkit and you'll see why I like it. It's easy, and that's the number one thing it's got going for it. Okay, so this is Convertkit, and as you can see, we've got Mailchimp here. Now, if we jump into Mailchimp real quick, I'll show you what I was talking about in the first part of the video. All right. So you can see that even after I have done all of my migration, I still have 6,000 people in Mailchimp because they're all unsubscribed and I'm required to keep that information. I have 6 people that are subscribed, which says to me I've got a channel somewhere that people are sneaking in through. So something is still pointing to a Mailchimp landing page, and I'm going to have to troubleshoot that. I'll find out where that's coming from, and then we'll replace that. But everything else, as you notice, is gone. It's all been migrated. So if we go to Convertkit, you'll see it's all in here now. And the dashboard looks a little bit differently, but it tracks all the same things and it works the same way. And, their terminology is a little bit different. What I'm using most of the time is broadcasts. That's basically just their newsletters. You can set up sequences, which are, drip campaigns that are sending out emails to people over time. There are automations, of course, just like you find elsewhere in forms. So it has all the same tools that you would get in Mailchimp, but I like their setup a little bit better. And for me to make a new email, I just logged in here the other day for the first time, and I was like, okay, I've never seen this before. I have no idea how Convertkit works. But you can see I just, created a new broadcast and walked through the steps that it gave me. It's got a simple email editor, just like every other client you're going to find. And, here we are. And what I really like is that how this stuff is laid out is easy for me to digest. I kind of like it a little bit better. I'm seeing my unsubscribers at a glance as opposed to having to click on an individual campaign and actually drill down into it and look at details. It's all here in the summary for me. So I can't say that Convertkit is like miles ahead of any other email provider or that it's way, way better. I'd love to hear in the comments what you guys think the best one is for you, what you love and what you're using. I chose Convertkit because it was perfect for me and it works for me. And the person that I hired to do my email, she knows it. And so that's going to be easier for us going forward because she'll know it and I'll know it. And this is way, way easier than ActiveCampaign. But if you're kind of a math geek, and you like automation and you like technology, you may find something like ActiveCampaign is really cool for you. So I would encourage you to investigate platforms and look around and see what's best for you. But this is what I migrated to, and you've heard the reasons why. I'm loving Convertkit so far. The migration was a pain. There were a lot of steps involved. I had to destroy all my lists over here and get them moved over here so I could look at my subscribers in one pool. And so what we've done is now all these email addresses are tagged with the lists that they came from. And interestingly, I lost, I want to say about 2,000 subscribers. That was basically just people that were subscribed to multiple lists in Mailchimp. So very happy that I finally completed this and that it's taken care of. If you have questions about email, please feel free to ask those in the comments or anything about my transition and why I did it or how it all went. I'm happy to answer those. I desperately need to get back to the writing. I have a webinar for Ads for Authors Who Hate Math today. That course is now live, and so it's being sold, which is great. And then after that, I got to get back to the writing. I am way, way behind schedule on God's War, the final book in the Magic Chronicles. That's got to be submitted by June 26th to the store, and the book is nowhere near done. So I'm going to get on that, and I'll talk to you guys next week.